Madam Chair,
Thank you very much, Program Director, Your Excellency, J. Nana Opoku Ajimang, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, who's always here supporting us. Your Excellency, Ana Alfonso Diaz Lorenzo, the former Minister and now the First Lady of the Republic of Angola. Ministers who are here, distinguished officials who are here from Ghana, from the AU, from the REX, leaders of both the private and the public sector, small and medium business leaders, women, youth, and all the fellow Africans who are here, but special greetings go to our queens and kings who are here. And of course, my fellow advisory council members, the chair of the board of Africa Prosperity Network and all board members. It is a privilege to address you today at the Africa Prosperity Network Dialogue 2026. I'm happy to say that Africa Prosperity Network has continuously emerged as the boardroom of Africa, a place where vision meets execution, where declarations are transformed into action, and where African prosperity and narratives are shaped by Africans themselves. It was a great pleasure to attend some of the breakfast meetings. I learned a lot from young people and from women entrepreneurs. Empowering SMEs, women and youth in Africa will ensure that our single market, our Africa Continental Free Trade is a success. Without empowering those, Africa will go nowhere. The Africa we want, which is an integrated, prosperous, peaceful Africa, driven by its own citizens, representing a dynamic force in the international arena. This meeting is very much aligned to Aspiration 6 of Agenda 2063, which recognizes that Africa's development must be driven by its people, drawing on the full potential of its women and youth. We gather in Ghana, a nation whose history is inseparable from the Pan-African project. From the vision of late President Kwame Nkrumah to Ghana's contemporary leadership in democratic governance and continental trade facilitation, Ghana symbolizes Africa's enduring commitment to unity, self-reliance, and economic liberation. Hosting the APD 26 in Ghana reinforces the message that Africa's single market is rooted not only in policy, but in history, in struggle, and in collective aspiration. The Africa Prosperity Network was established to bring African leaders, businesses, citizens together to shape our collective future. It has convened heads of states, business leaders, innovators, and has built bridges between policy and enterprise, and advanced campaigns to remove barriers to trade and mobility. These include advocacy for mobile money interoperability, now adopted through the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System. And I'm happy to know that about 17 countries are already utilizing this. And the $1 a Day initiative to mobilize citizens, finance for Africa's infrastructure, which is currently under discussion with Outer NEPAD. Our success as African leaders will not be measured by summits or documents signed. It will be measured by jobs created, businesses scaled, borders opened, and rising prosperity for women, youth, and all citizens. It will be measured by whether Africa builds world-class infrastructure, take away the need for guns, and silence the guns, and ensures that children have access to quality education, health care, and a better quality of life. Our collective success will also be measured by whether we deliver a skills revolution, particularly in the science, technology, engineering, and maths, so that Africans can innovate and drive the continent towards lasting prosperity and peace. It will be measured whether we contribute to AI and not just be the consumers of AI, but we must also contribute to it. Because as they said in the earlier session, AI at the moment uses data that comes from elsewhere, not from the continent. So we must make sure that it also has data from the continent. Women contribute nearly 50% of the GDP, yet face systematic exclusion from finance, from markets, from trade, and from trade networks. So closing the gender gap in trade could increase intra-Africa trade by 15% annually. This is according to the Africa Continental Free Trade Secretariat. Youth make up 60% of Africa's population. We are the youngest continent. This is according to World Bank 2023. Yet unemployment remains structurally high. Empowering young entrepreneurs could create up to 50 million jobs by 2030, according to AFDB. It is therefore important to harness our youthful dividend by investing in quality education, skills aligned with future job markets. We must create an enabling environment for entrepreneurship and innovation through supporting policies and access to finance. Also, we need to foster good governance, political stability, and inclusive economic policies to ensure young people meaningfully contribute and benefit from the continent's growth. SMMEs account for 80% of employment and 50% of Africa's GDP, according to Afreximbank 2022. Yet, only one in five participants in cross-border trade due to regulatory, financial, and logistic barriers. So this needs to be addressed. And we require tailored financial products that reflect the realities of entrepreneurs, deliberate integration of women and youth-led enterprises into regional value chains, and sustainable investment in skills development and digital tools. So no one on the continent should not have access to digital technology. Now, to deepen intra-Africa trade, which currently stands at just 15%. I'll compare ourselves to Europe this time. Compared to Europe, which sits at 60 to 70% of intra-regional trade. Africa must therefore open its borders. To make Africa borderless now, campaign reflects the urgency that is needed for trade to succeed in Africa. This must be, of course, be done responsibly with due regards to security, regulation, and public safety. Greater mobility strengthens tourism, integration, and mutual understanding amongst Africans. It brings us closer to realizing the vision articulated by the former president of Ghana, who reminded us at that time that divided we are weak. United Africa can become one of the greatest forces for good in the world. That's what he said then. What he said then is still true today. If we just did what he said we must do, unite and have a borderless Africa. There are countries on our continent that have shown that this is possible. Let me just quote three. There may be more. Botswana, Namibia, Zambia. They are now borderless. And the sky has not fallen. And we have not heard of increased crime rate. But what is going to increase is trade between them. So, as we begin our dialogue 2026, we must commit to inclusive innovation, meaningful collaboration, and expanded trade. Simplified trade regimes must move from pilot projects to continental norms. We can't be piloting forever. Cross-border payments, logistics, and digital trade platforms must be designed for small businesses, not only for large banks and corporates. Integration must reduce costs, not add layers of delay. Governments must decisively remove tariffs and non-tariff barriers. The private sector must procure from SMMEs, women and youth businesses. And financial institutions must be transparent and accountable for how much their capital truly reaches those who drive inclusive growth. Maybe we should have a law in every country that financial institutions must declare how much of their capital goes to youth and women and small and medium enterprises. But building the Africa we want cannot be the responsibility of governments and business alone. It is a shared responsibility. Each and every one of us, whether you are a policymaker, an investor, an entrepreneur, an academic, a worker, or just a citizen like me who doesn't work anymore, we still have the responsibility to build the Africa we want. We have a role in building the Africa we want. But this must begin with us changing our mindset and understanding that we are Africans. The borders that we cherish so much were not drawn by us, and we must remove them. We must remove them. So, but of course, let me just digress and congratulate the young people who participated in the AFCON competition recently in Morocco. We congratulate all of them as they are our young people. And congratulate Senegal for winning. But you only win if they are participants, so we have to congratulate those who participated. And as I conclude, the measure of the success of this dialogue will not be the eloquence of our discussions, but the courage of our implementation as we live here. If we genuinely empower SMEs, women and youth within Africa's single market, if we innovate with purpose and collaboration without borders, we will ignite hope that is rooted here in the continent. We'll send a clear message to Africa's young people that their future does not lie, their future does not lie in the perilous journeys that they take across the Sahel and across the Mediterranean, but it lies here in the continent. We must build an Africa where young people will aspire to live in Africa, to fix Africa, rather than to escape it. So I wish this dialogue of APD 2026 great success. And I hope all of you here in this hall and outside will sign and be part of the movement for the borderless Africa now. I thank you. Let us